It's the final weekend of the Premiership regular season. All games kicking off Saturday at 3 p.m. UK time, and I cannot wait. I'm going to go flight of the Conchords once again because it really is business time. And let's look at the final round of fixtures. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers, and it could not be more tightly packed, finely poised, whatever phrase I should be using for that. It's going to be exciting. There are 7 teams that can make it into the top 4. And whilst it's been an absolutely disastrous season for Newcastle, for Gloucester, to some degree for Leicester Tigers as well, bearing in mind the pedigree and history of that club, it's also never been tighter at the top end. And the fact we're going into the final day of games with 7 teams that could make the playoffs is really exciting. So that's how tight the table is right now. And you couldn't have scripted it any better because you've got the top 4 playing each other, and you've got 2 of the teams in the chasing pack playing each other as well in a do-or-die matchup. So the teams have been announced. Let me just recap on the fixtures, what everyone needs, and looking at the teams, what I think will happen. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up as well, because I want club rugby. I'm going to be doing this for the URC. I'm going to be ramping up the top 14 as well in the coming weeks as the season reaches a finale. And club rugby is way less popular than international rugby is, and that needs to change. So just giving a thumbs up, leaving a comment, that can help. Big game, first v third at the Rec. Bath against Northampton. Saints have already guaranteed themselves a top 2 position. 2 points in this final game would guarantee that they get top spot. Bath can finish second, or they can miss out on the playoffs. So I was most interested in looking at the teams and seeing what would happen for this game, because Northampton can afford to rest players, and so I was interested to see whether they would. As for Bath, no surprises, they have gone fully loaded. That is an amazing front row. Thomas Dutoy, one of the players of the season. Beno Abano, I mean, Finn Baxter's been looking really good for Quins, but Beno Abano, I hope starts to get given some time at international level. He's definitely worth a look. Alfie Barbary on the bench. Finn Russell, though, at 10. Pulling the strings. They've gone as strong as I think that they possibly could. As you would understand, they have to win this one. And Northampton, they have rotated players. Interesting, they've got Rory Hutchinson at fly half. So no Finn Russell against Finn Smith in this matchup. And a load of the big guns for Northampton taken out of the firing line, rested for another day. They've earned the right to be able to do that. Slightly disappointed. And certainly there are teams below them outside of the top 4 that will definitely be disappointed that Northampton have rotated their players out. So I can only see that going one way based on the team. Northampton have been playing brilliant this season, but Bath at home will win that game, in my humble opinion. Let's move on to second against fourth. A repeat of last year's Premiership final. Saracens against Sale. Saracens were victorious that day. The subplot in this game is that, well, will Alex Sanderson for Sale Sharks get one over on his old club? Will this be Owen Farrell and also Mako and Billy Vunapola's last game for Saracens? Last game at home. Because Saracens have guaranteed themselves a top 4 spot. If they win, they get a second spot minimum, but they could finish first to get that home playoff spot. Sale must win to stay in the top 4. And both teams have gone as strong as they possibly could. And when you look at the bench for Saracens, you see just how strong they are. Theo Dan, Riccioni and Theo McFarland on the bench. Billy Vunipola as well. That's a pretty ominous sight if you're a Sale Sharks fan. Sale, well, they've picked the best team that they possibly can. And they've got some absolute class in that team. I just think man for man, and especially when you look at the bench and the fact they're at home, I can only see that one going Saracens' way. Sale need a massive performance, and they're capable of it, and they can go toe-to-toe physically. But I think Saracens will win that game, which will mean that Quins and Bristol will be 2 of the teams ready to pounce. They face off, and this game could be absolutely nuts. It could be bonkers, because both teams have to win. They also don't really have anything to lose at this point, and they need points, both in terms of try bonus points and also points difference. That it could come down to that. So they both play attacking rugby. This game could be insane. in the way that what was it, a few years ago when Quins won the Premiership, the semi-final, just one of the most bonkers games of rugby you will ever see. So Quins need a win and a try bonus point. Bristol have to beat Quins by 5 points, and that gets them in if Sale and Exeter lose. I think Sale can still get 2 points and keep Bristol out. But this game, I mean, it could be bonkers, and one of the teams could do everything that they need to do and still lose out, and that's because they are both behind currently at the start, before a game has been played. Oh, sorry, let's have a look at the teams, yeah. So, final game, certainly a final game at home for Andre Esterhazen. Will it be his final game for Harlequins? We'll wait and see. They've gone strong. They've gone with their Will Collier playing his last game at the Stoop as well. I mean, that's a damn good team, that. And they've got quite a few players in that side that would be contenders for team of the season. When you look at Bristol, a shame for them, no AJ McGinty, who's out with a concussion. So Callum Sheedy gets a farewell, potentially. He'll be hoping that he gets to play another game for Bristol Bears. But other than that, they've gone as strong as they possibly can and as they need to. Harry Thacker getting a start is the only other little headline there, personnel-wise. And then, like I say, both Quins and Bristol, one of them could win with 5 points and a massive margin, still miss out because they're reliant on the result at Welford Road, where Leicester play Exeter. Leicester cannot go higher than 8th, cannot go lower than 8th. They're stuck 3rd bottom. They will be, though, cheering on the Sharks in the Challenge Cup final next Friday, because if Gloucester win, they steal Leicester's Champions Cup spot for next season. But Exeter are the team that you'll be looking at Welford Road. They're currently in 5th. A bonus point win means that they will be in the top 4 if Sale lose. Or if Bath lose... there is a way that Exeter can get there if Bath lose and don't get a losing bonus point or a try bonus point. But I think Bath are probably going to win looking at the selection. So really, this comes down to Exeter need to get a win and hope that Sale lose. If that happens, Exeter will pinch 4th spot from them. If Leicester, at home with a lot of pride and their fans who've supported them through this tough season, if Leicester manage to pull off a win, and well, then it's Quins or Bristol are back in the game. It's going to be really interesting and it's going to ebb and flow. I hope the weather's good. We could see some crazy rugby. That man, Henry Slade, just penned a new deal with Exeter Chiefs. He's been absolutely incredible. Argument for him being player of the season in the Premiership. Emmanuel Faye-Waboso as well, although he's not had that many starts for Exeter. As for the teams, look at that. Leicester should be so much better than they are. They've got 2 World Cup winners in their starting lineup. Jasper Wiese playing his last game for Leicester Tigers. Andre Pollard at fly half. You've got guys like, just internationals everywhere you look. Montoya, the captain. That team should be so much better than they are. Which, is that coaching? Is that, I don't know, the absence of personnel because it was a World Cup year and they do have so many internationals? It could be all of that mixed together. But Leicester Tigers could well cause an upset against Exeter, spoil their party and leave the door open for someone else. And for Exeter, when you just compare the internationals in Leicester's team and then you look at some of the names who go back a year, and so many of these names you wouldn't know who they were. Max Norrie starting at hooker for Exeter Chiefs. It's incredible the job that Rob Baxter has done this year with Exeter Chiefs. You thought the rebuild would take far longer. They're going into the final round of games with a realistic chance of making top 4. If they make top 4, there's an argument Rob Baxter is Director of Rugby of the season, even above Phil Dowson at Northampton Saints. Incredible story bubbling there. We'll wait and see. I'm just going to mention the other game. It's the Loser Bowl. The 2 bottom teams are playing each other. Newcastle, can they get 1 win? Gloucester, can they, gather a little bit of form before the Challenge Cup final next Friday night? I don't really care about that one as much, to be perfectly honest. It's all about this and the top 4 spots. What do you think is going to happen? Thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the selections? Northampton resting a bunch of players. Everyone else pretty much going as strong as they can. How do you think it's going to shake down? I will obviously be reacting to the results tomorrow. 3:05 is the kickoff. I'll have a video following full time when we know who the top 4 will be. Give the video a thumbs up, help spread the word. I'll see you on the next one.